that until the result of that appeal is known, all work on the bids should be paused. So that is something that we perhaps need to ask ourselves as a council, and how, if we want to support it. And one of the other things that did come up at the meeting is that we were actually told that it was a closed vote, and so when the ballot was actually, the results of the ballot were announced, that nobody else was privy to it. However, Clive Evans stated in the Yorkshire Post that it was an open ballot, and that the Chief Executive, Jim Dillon, as returning officer, held an open count which was attended and observed by interested individuals and the press. We didn't know anything about it. We, as interested individuals, should have been allowed to actually pursue that. So, since we weren't allowed, and there were emails waved about and said, yes, but you could have come, we didn't know anything about it, and I believe that we did ask if we could be present. So those are our thoughts, and really, if it's at all feasible, how do we feel as a council about actually supporting this action with the appeal and looking at what Scarborough what part they played in this.
Well, that question is not on the agenda this evening.
No.
So, do councillors want to put that question, if the business action group could put that request in writing to us, and then we can debate it at our next full council meeting?
Will there be time for that?
Well, you've only just sent your letter to the Secretary of State, haven't you?
Yeah, there is another month, I believe, Grace. And just for the record as well, we've been told by a number of people that are in the know that 40 appeals have been put to the Secretary of State, and they've all been rejected. But I don't know whether anybody has actually gone into the very intense detail that the guys here in Whitby have. And I've had phone calls from businesses in Scarborough now saying that they feel that it's been shoved through, and also a borough council for one of the fine wards as well. So I don't think it is just us.
Okay, I'll move that we put this as an agenda item for next month's agenda.
So you just seconded. Have we got a seconder for that? Absolutely.
Can I just ask that we have with that agenda item, we have a copy of the actual appeal letter?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Councillor Smith.
Can we also have a copy of a very brief timeline, I'm sorry to put it on your pan, a very brief timeline of actually what Whitby Town Council knew about this bid prior to it? Because I noticed places like Redcar and Guilsborough had withdrawn. Did we ever have that option, or what, was it too late in the game?
It was, sorry, it was
It was 5 years ago, wasn't it?
It first came about a few years ago, and it was first raised by Councillor Freeman when the WDTA were approached, and it was raised in this council chamber about the bid, the initial idea of a bid, and then WDTA were against it. We never debated it as such. We just said we didn't think it was a good idea, the distance. And that's it's going to be about 4 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago, definitely.
The next we heard about it was basically back in June, and the museum found out about it, and they were having discussions with the bid manager. So we didn't realise at that time we were going to actually get a vote, but obviously Planet Art Gallery, and we pay the rates on the whole building anyway, so we got the vote. But arguably I'm not quite sure what the square footage is. So we have effectively 2 votes here, but should we have actually had more, because the square footage is pretty events.
It should be, they call it a hereditament. So if you have a business address and you have another business address, even if it's in the same building, if you have two lots of rates, you should have two ballot papers.
So effectively we did, because we have one as Planet Art Gallery, we also have one as Whitby, or we didn't, but Whitby Museum have. So but we can have a look through and see where the change came in. So, but it's sort of it was about September time when I think we first started to get to know about it.
Sorry, Councillor Thompson, you can say something.
Through the chair, do you have a copy of the legislation?
Yes.
You do,
Yes.
Basically, if you can send me everything
I'll send it all
you need, and I'll have a look at the timeline.
The other thing, one thing that did come up at meetings, that the councillors did recall £15,000 being set aside for the ballot process and the feasibility study. The feasibility study appears to have vanished off the face of the earth. So we don't know the results of that feasibility study, but between April of last year and June of this year, going further down the line up to September, Redcar and Cleveland suddenly disappeared and Gisborough suddenly disappeared, so it's no longer deemed to be within the bid area. And it is suspected, I shouldn't really say that, but it is amazing that the feasibility study that was carried out is nowhere to be seen. And I don't know whether the feasibility study, I would have thought, had we have given, let's say, £2,000 to a company to provide a feasibility study about something we were going to embark on, then surely as a council we should have seen the results of that feasibility study before we took any further action. Would that not have been the correct way of doing it? So, and none of the borough councillors could recall ever having seen it.
I think there's an issue because it's an independent group that it's not the actual council that are following this through.
No, I understand.
It's the group that are the bid group as it is.
Yeah.
It's not actually the borough council's kind of responsibility, isn't it?
No.
The borough council obviously legally have to collect the money, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. But the actual bid itself has been carried out by obviously the big group.
Yes.
Who is it? Welcome auction.
No, they're called the Mosaic Partnership. But Welcome to Yorkshire have had a big part to play in it. Because they were the ones, Jared Deacon that actually put the proposal to the Cabinet back in, as I say, back in April last year, 2017, sorry. So they actually were the ones that came up with it. And as I say, the initial bid area was to run from Redcar. They held workshops in Gisborough. They held one workshop here, two workshops on the same day at the Greenland Centre, and apparently 20 businesses attended.
Well, we've taken a vote on the action that we're going to make. It's got a proposal and a second. Councillor Harston and Councillor Wilson.
So all in favour of that agenda item going on next to the full council, that's unanimous. Oh, yeah, Joe, I did have his hand up.
Was that a yes or a no?
It was a yes, sorry, he did have his hand up, but he puts it on there, so you can't see the name inside.
Can we just receive those two documents as well from
Councillor Harston, all in favour of receiving those two? That's unanimous. C, request from Mr. Rowe to be regarding the seat plaque in Pellet Park. Pardon? Totally agree. Yes. Councillor Smith.
There has always been a policy within Pellet Park that of no tax. For example, when any birch dies, whilst we planted the tree, there is no plaque. There have been numerous people that have donated trees to the park in memory of somebody. Nobody has a plaque. My concern is that this opens a can of worms. Whilst I understand it's a very worthy gentleman, there is a massive problem across the town, not only with the official plaques, or perhaps not with the official plaques, but the proliferation of unofficial plaques that inevitably follows official plaques. And I feel it's a slippery slope that we will be entering into, even if we could manage to contain it from the point of view of official people asking officially to put plaques up. Once there is a plaque there, you will find that others appear. And that reason alone, I feel that it will be a retrograde step.
Councillor Harston.
Do we have an actual policy on memorials, etc., within the park?
The Friends of Planet Park do, yes, and it's no memorials as such. Yeah. No plaques, no. They have memorials as in somebody's allowed to come and plant a tree, but they do not plaque up that tree.
Councillor Trumper.
So regarding plaques, the policy is any type of plaque. It's a memorial plaque, a plaque remembering a kind of day, such as a march. And then because we do have 2 plaques on the front door.
We do have 2 plaques on the front door, I agree, and
That's from the town council building.
that they are on the town council building, and they are not memorial plaques in terms of, as you're saying, they are not I accept that. I do know the Friends have the policy of no plaques, as I say, it's been in existence since the start of the renovation of the park. There are, I would estimate 10 to 20 trees within the park that have been donated in that time in memory of somebody, and each one of those people have been told no plaques on it.
Councillor Copley.
If you go to the town hall in Scarborough, the benches around the town hall all have plaques on, right? Yes, I'm sure they all.
I mean, there are a number of memorial benches in Whitby.
And I have no problem with there being somewhere within the town, because as you rightly say, there are lots of them. Virtually every seat's got at least one on it, and a number of seats have got 5, 6, 7 on it. That I don't have a problem with. I have a problem because the park's had a policy for at least the last 10 years of not doing so.
Councillor Sunderland.
Yeah, just out of interest, why is that policy there? Is it a maintenance issue, or I've just wondered why the policy was there?
In order to prevent a proliferation of signage across the park, which is felt intrudes into the park, which I can understand. There was a suggestion a couple of years ago that all our plants should be named up, as in if you go to the Botanical Garden, all the plants are named up. The same decision was taken over that we wanted this to remain an open space, parkland, without that intrusion of multitudinous signage all over the place. The Friends worked really hard to keep signage to a minimum within the park. That's basically why they got the policy.
Councillor Trumper.
Is this really our decision if it's private park?
Yes, it is. Because obviously the town council are the trustees of the park as well as the trustees of the building. But perhaps
maybe
what we need to do is ask the Friends of Planet Park what their view is.
Exactly, before I actually make a decision.
Yeah. From
that
Also, do the Friends of Planet Park actually have a record of who trees have been donated in memory of? I would have no objection with there somewhere being a publicly accessible record.
Yes, they do, and they also have a large plaque which is then being produced on the website, and I believe there's plans to try and put it up somewhere in the park, which is in the shape of an ammonite, which records or the sponsorship. And one records the history of the park and all the major events. So, for example, the regiment will be listed on that one, and then the other one records all the people that have sponsored or donated to the park. So that would record that the family gave the tree to the park, or that money was donated for a bench or whatever. So that would be recorded on those plaques. And I don't think it's up yet, but I do think from memory that the Friends were trying to get those plaques displayed somewhere in the park. They are on the website, so there are other means of people doing it. It's just that they have had a no plaque policy.
Well, Councillor Trump has made a proposal that we actually write to the Friends of Park and ask them what their opinion is.
Yeah, I think we should.
Councillor Summers said.
Can I just make one comment? We do have a timeline in the park, and that is written on the flagstones round the clock.
Well, I think the question is, if the Friends of Park are comfortable with it, then, so I'll write to them and then I'll bring it back to next meeting.
All in favour of that proposal? G, invitation from Whitby Civic Society to a joint council meeting with a panel from NYTC, SBC, WTC and NP.
Right, I wrote back to the lady from the Civic Society saying that we were discussing this tonight. I then got a response to say that, we've cancelled this meeting now because it was too late for them if we couldn't discuss it till the 8th of January. But then I received a communication from the other lady, Karen Atkinson, actually progressing the invite. Now I emailed her last week to say, was this meeting still going ahead or not? She was supposed to be coming back to work yesterday, but I haven't heard from her. So I'm not sure if this meeting is actually happening or not, but if it's not happening on whenever it was, the 21st, perhaps they're going to do it at a later date. So if we can nominate somebody tonight to attend, regardless of when it is, that saves me having to bring back to another meeting. So as I say, I'm just a bit confused. Councillor Shumper.
I don't know, who wants to go?
No, I would propose that we actually send somebody, but go on. I'm happy to go if you want to.
The Coliseum.
Yeah, it's going to be at the Coliseum. I mean, the thing is, it's going to be presentation and discussion. The aim is to highlight what services each council supplies to the town of Whitby and how the councils are linked, with some members' questions to be submitted prior to the meeting. This is Civic Society members' questions being submitted. I mean, can I suggest that it should be the mayor and possibly the clerk, as well, because there may be questions that an elected member may not know the answer to because it's been something that's happened before their time or whatever. So, if there is going to be a meeting, what do you think about that?
Yeah, of course not.
So you got a seconder? Maureen, all in favour?
So
I'd love to go, but I would work.
Oh, never mind.
So clerk attends whenever the meeting is.
More than welcome. And pensions are paid, so.
Right. E, SBC response to food waste collection question. I've got told to receive that. I've got a seconder to receive it. On that, it's going to see it.
The whistle chairman has been typically
Please get things to the talk. Actually, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I think it was only a fortnight after we sent the proposal in, the government actually came out and said that they were going to enforce food bins and who carried across all council, so I think actually,
Yeah.
we got in before them, but actually, yeah. We were on the right lines.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's a lot of information about Hamilton online actually, I read it, they are using a food digester, and a digester.
I mean, I've got previous experience in my previous life, and we had food carriers, and they were just brilliant. To turn it into stuff that you can go and put in your compost bin and things like that. And I think they're a great idea, absolutely brilliant. And stops your veins smelling as well.
Yeah, well, my food waste was compost anyway. So we received that.
Yeah, did we get an actual vote on it?
Yes, it was on the one in favour.
Yeah.
Diocese of York, proposal to close for public worship the church of St. Bartholomew's at Russet. Unfortunately, it's a shame, but it's happening all around the country. Proposal to receive it, Councillor Trumper, Councillor Coughlin, second, all in favour to receive that information.
Probably a bit like for the company.
Yeah. So,
We did hear that.
it's probably going to be a night for the something to say.
Just do it like this.
Changes after the new field.
We get people unemployed councils anyway.
Item number 9, nomination for honorary citizenship.
Yes, we circulated tonight another one that did actually arrive before the deadline, but it didn't arrive in the post, it arrived by an email. It was on our machine, which we didn't pick up, so that's why you've got the 2 tonight. But these really ought to be discussed under press and public exclusion, so do you want to
Exclude them now or move them to the end?
defer?
Should we defer them to the end? Yeah. Proposer. Councillor Wilson, second to Councillor Mrs. A. Smith, all in favour that we defer these to the end. Item number 10, committee recommendations, to consider and make decisions on any recommendations arising from the committee meeting. F436/1A, approval of payments. Members approve payments on behalf of council for the 20th of November and 18th of December 2018.
Yeah,
Councillor Coughlin, Councillor Trumper, all in favour. S440/18, consideration of the draft budget for 2019-2020. Members considered the draft budget for 2019-2020 and considered the revised budget aimed at achieving a 0% reset figure. Proposed by Councillor Mrs. N. Wilson, seconded by Councillor C. Winsfield, and unanimously recommended that the 2019-2020 budget, as agreed by Finance, Policy and General Purposes Committee, is submitted to full council for approval. Councillor Trumper?
I'd like to recommend approval.
We've got a seconder. Councillor Coughlin, all in favour? Against? Abstention? Proposed by Councillor J. Harston, seconded by Councillor Mrs. L. Wild, and unanimously recommended that the 2019-2020 precept of £213,380 is agreed by Finance, Policy and General Purpose Committee, which represents no percentage increase, and Band D remains at £43.29 per annum per household, is submitted to council for approval. Councillor Wilson?
Proposal to recommend accept.
Have we got a seconder? Councillor Winstead, all in favour? Against? Abstentions? 11, elections for Town Council May 2019. To consider if the Town Council wishes to promote the forthcoming elections to increase new councillors using the NALC template materials or any other means.
we've got,
I think it's something we need to consider.
I mean, we're starting to get right into the, elections. We've got our elections briefing next month. We've been looking at the further dates and everything today, so that we're fully, know what's going on in terms of the actual election. But in terms of the council, encouraging new members, as we know, we've been without a full complement for the whole of this term. Since 2015. One of the things that we really could do with having is at least 13 members elected. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to be elected opposed, they can be elected unopposed, but we need at least 13 people to stand, because then that will tie in with us applying for the general power of competence, which means that we can do other things other than just the statutory. We can basically do anything that an individual can do, such as setting up companies and things like that. So, we want to encourage as many people as we can to stand. I mean, we're looking quite good at the moment. This is the most we've had on the council since the last election. I think we got 16 at the last election, and at one point we were down to 13. So we're doing really well now. We're back up to 17. So if everybody stands again,
Hello, Chair.
I'm just presenting the reasons why you need to.
Absolutely. What can we do about encouraging people to stand? I think that's what I'm quite bobby, as you know. I'm very happy to talk to as many people as possible. Certainly in the business community as well, because I know...
you go on the Oscars radio and...
I better just do that, haven't I? Yeah.
I mean, you really good chance for a short time.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be just to explain your experience. Learn a lot to you. I think happy to do that.
And
you can learn what's going you as well.
You really know that I'm a massive fan of public speaking.
I mean, do we get this, I know there's a template, isn't there?
These are the papers that we can use. I mean, they're editable. I could change all those to say with the town council. Obviously we can put it on the website. We have we held a sort of an open evening.
Yes, I mean, an open evening sounds fabulous, because I think a lot of people would like to come forward, but they don't quite know what goes on and
So that's the sort of thing you could do. Councillors may want to approach other organisations where people get involved in the community and see if anybody in those organisations wants to come forward.
Something else, I mean, I know it's connected, but not immediately connected, is that I know that a lot of areas have had school councils where you go out and you actually speak to the schools. It's something to actually going out, speaking to the schools and getting the young people involved in what's going on. It gives them a really good sense of community, and if they have their own school councils, and with our help and support, that's another good way of spreading the word and getting younger people, younger generation actually interested in what's going on.
Councillor Downing, Paul.
Yeah, I agree, but I think we should get to the more old-fashioned ways. I joined the council after reading all the information on the notice board, I walk past every day with the dog. I think if we can get something on all the notice boards, just to say, elections coming up, are you interested? You go to the council website, people will go look at that, and oh, right.
You had a notice board and that goes to the council.
The dog used to have a rest. That's why the notice board, but you have to read it a lot.
We need to be putting dates in this as well. It's no use someone saying, in the past I've talked to someone and said, there's an election next week, and they say, oh, can I stand? Sorry, the first date was a month ago.
Yeah.
Dates need to be...
And I was thinking it's practical because as a council we could approach the Whitby Press and ask them if they would be prepared to run perhaps a series of stories, perhaps a day in the life of the town mayor, day in the life of one of us, day in the life of Borough Council, so people could see all the different options that were open to them and hopefully make them see that this is something that actually they could do, not just for somebody else to be doing.
And it would be advertised also on the school. I think they'd be really happy to do that.
Yeah.
Very community.
That's the problem.
In the past we've had pupils from what used to be called Whitby School, and they were really interested, and they put forward some really good ideas and whatnot, but they were very interested.
The problem is that they're not 18.
No.
What we're talking about now is very encouraging people who are of electoral age.
Yes, of course.
To stand for council.
Yeah, I think part of it as well, just going on from your point about the schools having their own council, but then have nominated representatives from the school come together for the town. That worked really well across Oldham, where I was a head teacher. But then also building up that those children have got parents, and those parents who, will come with the children, will attend, and that's an opportunity to talk to the parents about local, government and so on, and how they can get involved, because they then will go out and talk to other people as well, people that they know in the schools that might be moving shakers in the schools.
Yeah, I think we need to encourage people to come to the meetings anyway.
Right, so we've got a couple of, like this idea of getting things up on the notice board and notices and on the website, approaching the Gazette and the Whitby advertisers, an open evening. Now, you could have a couple of open evenings in where one you could engage with the schools, and another one which is engaging with people who perhaps don't have children or, through the business community.
Yes, definitely.
So, do you want to arrange a couple of open evenings?
I think that's a great idea.
We estimate that the election is going to be called around about the 18th of March. So that's when it will start to be open, and you need people to be thinking about nominations round about then. So we're looking at February, early March? Yeah. So overall we need...
Can I also suggest that, I don't know if this is possible, but could we have a collection of papers so that people don't have to take all the way to Skyway to pick up a paper?
We always do, they always get
If it's advertising, where they're available from, it just makes it easy for people to...
I will get, there will be 19 packs plus 3, so I will have available here 22 packs. As soon as the election is called and the papers are issued. Obviously, if I run out of those, I can ring them up and get more. So people can come here and collect the papers, but what I usually do is everybody who's already on council.
A few years ago that what they call the Electoral Commission would put blank templates online so people could print them off themselves, but that's never
come to fruition.
That would be a sensible idea, because it's a standard form.
Yeah. The only thing is, I think you have to personally take them back. That's the difficulty, that you have to personally take them back so that they can check them. But I said we've got our briefing on the 19th of February, so we'll get more information from there. And we'll know how the whole process is going to work.
What's something to aim towards the end of February?
End of February, early March, to have a couple of open evenings. I mean, you could potentially do it either before or after the meeting. If you've got a meeting on another night, we could have a meeting and then invite people along.
March for council evening, a couple of hours before the full council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we start
And
at
then anyone
5:30,
who's
so
interested could then...
anybody say from 5 o'clock?
Make sure the agenda's nice and light.
Yeah, they need to see us in action, don't they?
So that's the 5th of March. Right, so basically all those raft of measures, can we have the proposer?
Councillor Houghton, seconded Councillor Mr Smith, all in favour? That's unanimous.
Just a bit more to do,
Sorry?
Just a bit more to do.
No, you can, don't worry.
No, if it gets more councillors.
Item 13, or item 12, we haven't got any. Item 13, minutes to confirm an accurate record of minutes of the following full council meetings and receive minutes of the committee meetings.
I know.
Whatever the word, yes, whatever the word is, yes.
Let's take them on block. Yeah, I've got a second, let's take them on block. Councillor Trumper. Now can we have a proposer to...
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
As quick as that.
Get excited at this part.
Yeah.
Can we have a proposer to we confirm the full council on the state of committee meeting minutes? Councillor Coghlan, seconded Councillor Houghton, all in favour? Item number 14, members' reports. Receive reports from members nominated to represent the council outside bodies.
I haven't received it, as far as I'm aware, there haven't been any meetings in between.
Item number 15, flooding awareness. Title 5.5 meeting, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th and 26th of January 2019. Do you have a proposal to receive those? Councillor Trumper, seconded Councillor Coghlan, all in favour? Item 16, potash development progress.
Nothing to report, but there is a liaison meeting, which I sent you the information about.
The 7th?
Yeah, which usually attends that. And I know that Pete Parsons is intending to come to one of the meetings, either February or March, because they've run me upstairs to get the date, so I'm pretty sure we'll be getting an update quite soon.
So can I have a proposal that we exclude members of the public still in the gallery so we can discuss Councillor Smith and seconded by Councillor Houghton? All in favour? Now, can you just knock on the prayer? Thank you for coming. Yes, that's all.